Fireflies stitch the night together while I try to mend what daytime tore. Seams of thunder, hems of weather, buttons of hope on a screen door. Your words frayed out by the dinner bell, mine snagged hard on an old regret. Now darkness hums like a quiet well, and I'm threading peace where sorrow said. Hold the fabric, breathing slow, tie a knot where the ribs still show. Fireflies stitch the night together while I try to mend what daytime ripped apart. Little lamps along the heather, teaching gentle to a stubborn heart. If love's a quilt we wear through weather, let the moonlight take the hardest part. Fireflies stitch the night together while I try to mend what daytime ripped apart. Fence line sags where we lean too much, posts remember every fight. I bring needles made of mercy's touch, threaded with a softer light. Your jacket hangs on the porch rail thin, smells like hay in late July. I sew a promise in the cloth again that I'll listen more than I'll try. Hands that shook all afternoon, find a rhythm under the moon. Fireflies stitch the night together while I try to mend what daytime ripped apart. Little lamps along the heather, teaching gentle to a stubborn heart. Love's a quilt we wear through weather, let the moonlight take the hardest part. Fireflies stitch the night together while I try to mend what daytime ripped apart. Patch of silence with a simple yes, hem the anger at the edge, cut the pride down to fit the rest, lay the truth along the ledge. Crickets keep time like a pedal steel, I'll say hush from the cedar bend. I stitch the places daylight peeled and trust the dark to help it mend. Knot and pull, don't tug too tight, let the seam learn how to ride. Fireflies stitch the night together while I try to mend what daytime ripped apart. Little lamps along the heather, teaching gentle to a stubborn heart. If love's a quilt we wear through weather, let the moonlight take the hardest part. Fireflies stitch the night together while I try to mend what daytime ripped apart. Maybe morning won't be perfect, but it might be strong and true. Every patch says we were worth it, every stitch says me and you. If the daylight frays tomorrow, we'll keep thread within our reach, sew the edges of our sorrow into something warm to keep. Glow and go, tiny sparks, lighten up the tender parts. Dawn leans pale on the kitchen tiles, steam from the kettle writes our names. You pour the coffee, we trade small smiles, promises plain without the flames. The ribs are smaller than they were, the cloth still soft and warm. We fold the night we made of stars and carry it in a morn. Hold this stitch while daylight starts, let the mending guard our heart. Fireflies stitch the night together while Love's a quilt we wear forever. Let the daylight find a steadier heart. Fireflies stitched the night together, and we mended what the day ripped apart. We hang the quilt on the chair by the door and step in the morning, mended more. Fireflies stitch the night together, mending what the day ripped apart. Your note on the fridge still smells like rain, ink like a river on a window pane. I stand in the kitchen with the morning gray, counting the drips while the past won't drain. The clock ticks steady like a porch swing chain. Floorboard creaks say your old sweet name. Steam curls up like a faithful friend. I read every word again. Some letters heal, some letters sting. I read it every time the kettle sings. Your note on the fridge still smells like rain. I read it every time the kettle sings. Between the hush and the whistle's refrain, I hear the promise and the parting things. If love's in the lines that the weather can't tame, let the water rise and the memory rain. Your note on the fridge still smells like rain. I read it every time the kettle sings. By the window the basil leans toward light. Your coffee mug waits for another night. Photographs curl at the edges a bit, like the corners of a smile when we almost quit. I measure the sugar, I measure the egg. 2 spoons for courage, 3 for the break. Stir in circles like the years we spun, round and round till the silence won. There's truth in the quiet between the dings. I read it every time the kettle sings. Your note on the fridge still smells like rain. I read it every time the kettle sings. Between the hush and the whistle's refrain, I hear the promise and the parting things. If love's in the lines that the weather can't tame, let the water rise and the memory rain. Your note on the fridge still smells like rain. I read it every time the kettle sings. About summer in a borrowed truck, about finding a road and a little more luck. Said if the storm breaks early, I'll be home by dark. Left a kiss in the margin like a sparrow's mark. Now thunder's a rumor far off the ridge, and the only sure thunder is that old kettle's hiss. I press the paper to my chest like prayer, swear I catch your breath in the kitchen air. I can hold her, I can learn to bring. I read it every time the kettle sings. Your note on the fridge still smells like rain. I read it every time the kettle sings. Between the hush and the whistle's refrain, I hear the promise and the parting things. If love's in the lines that the weather can't tame, let the water rise and the memory rain. Your note on the fridge still smells like rain. I read it every time the kettle sings. Sky will clear its throat and send you back on a brighter note. Maybe I'll learn what the quiet brings, to listen for love in the smallest things. Till then, the steam on the window writes our names in fog for a second of light. Rain on the roof, tea on the tongue, the words you left keep coming undone. Sun breaks through and the linoleum shines, tiny gold rivers in crooked lines. I fold your letter but I never fold you, leave it under the magnet like we always do. If home is a kettle that calls me near, I'll answer that whistle year after year. I'll breathe in the paper, the ink, the spring, and read it when the kettle sings. From first light's hush to evening's wings, I read it every time the kettle sings. Your note on the fridge still smells like rain. I read it every time the kettle sings. Between the hush and the whistle's refrain, I hear the promise and the parting things. If love's in the lines that the weather can't tame, let the water rise and the memory rain. Your note on the fridge still smells like rain. I read it every time the kettle sings. I set one cup by your favorite chair, steam rising like a whispered prayer. Your note on the fridge still smells like rain. I read it every time the kettle sings. Cracked teacup taught me how to hold love gently. Morning light on the kitchen tile, hairline rivers running thin and friendly. Steam curled up like a patient smile. I used to grab at what was breaking, trying to stop the spill. But some things mend by slow partaking, hands that learn to still. Turn the cup and see the scene. Fragile doesn't mean it's weak. A cracked teacup taught me how to hold love gently, how to pour with both hands, steady heart bent kindly. Not too tight and not too empty. Leave a little room for healing quietly. If mercy has a handle, let it lead me. Cracked teacup taught me how to hold love gently. We argued soft by the window's flutter, words like spoons on a trembling plate. You said I'm tired, I set down the clutter. I can listen, we can wait. I warmed the kettle, turned the burner low, let silence take a chair. We watched the steam and learned to show how care can be repaired. Lift it careful, breathe it through. What we keep will carry you. A cracked teacup taught me how to hold love gently, how to pour with both hands, steady heart bent kindly. Not too tight and not too empty. Leave a little room for healing quietly. If mercy has a handle, let it lead me. A cracked teacup taught me how to hold love gently. There's a golden thread along a broken line, shining where the break once hurt. Funny how the scars can underline all the ways that love can work. We pass that cup like a little vow across the table's worn out grain. It says be careful with the now, and don't be cruel with pain. Tip and sip, don't rush or spill. Let the quiet do its will. A cracked teacup taught me how to hold love gently, how to pour with both hands, steady, heart bent kindly. Not too tight and not too empty. Leave a little room for healing quietly. If mercy has a handle, let it lead me. A cracked teacup taught me how to hold love gently. Maybe strong is not unbreaking. Maybe strong is being kind. Maybe brave is softly taking what we'd rather leave behind. Set the cup back in the saucer, hear that tiny faithful ring. Even chipped, it keeps its offer. Stay and share a warming thing. Hold it lightly, breathe and see. Gentle is a way to be. Now when storms lean hard on windows, and the day won't treat us right, we brew 2 cups and let the wind go. Wrap our fingers round the light. We don't hide the mended places. Let them sparkle when we pour. What was fragile turns to graces, more itself than before. Turn the cup and bless the scene. Fragile taught us how to lean. A cracked teacup taught me how to hold love gently, how to pour with both hands, steady, heart bent kindly. Not too tight and not too empty.